Hey guys, my name is Esther. This is hadassah.livess. If you're new here, we do all things nursing and then we sprinkle a little bit of lifestyle. So today I'm currently on vacation, and so I'm just kind of chilling out on the balcony. I would show you the view, but it's not necessarily the greatest. I probably should have recorded this video when I had a better view, but that's okay. But I wanted to chit chat with you guys because I had a little bit of time and I thought this would be a great opportunity to make a video and to talk about some things with you all. So today's video is really going to be talking about nursing and just operating nursing as a business. I think specifically, I guess I would say operating your nursing career as a business. I think a lot of people are getting into nursing. A lot of people are hating nursing. A lot of people are not really able to find their way of like where they fit in this career, and I think it's because a lot of us have not had the opportunity or done our due diligence to just sit down and to really think about what type of life that we want to create for ourselves. And if I'm looking out into the distance, girls, because I'm looking at the scenery is not giving what it needs to give, but it is a scenery. So if I'm looking out into the distance, then that is why. But that's what I was saying. I think that before you do anything, I think this makes more sense as you get older. I think because as you get older, you realize that you want to live your life a certain way. And when you're making choices and decisions that don't align with that, it becomes very problematic. Like the way you live your day-to-day life is not enjoyable. You cannot be content. You're not happy. You're not enjoying your life, right? And so I think what I kind of want to bring to surface is that I know nursing is a career. I know it's like the career path of like what's your profession, you know, what you want to do with your life, what you're going to go to school to do. But I think you really need to look at nursing like a business, right? I think you really need to figure out like, what do I want my career to be? Like, what do I want it to look like? What experiences do I want to have? What are some of the things I want to be exposed to? What are some of the things I want to try out? What is my end goal? What is my short-term goal? Where do I want to be a year from now? How do I want to start? These are all questions you need to be asking yourself, and I think enough people don't ask themselves these questions, and I think that's why nursing is like unbearable. I think that's why people get burnt out. I think that's why people stay in one job for like 5 years and wake the hell up and realize, why am I still here? Like, why haven't I left? The plan was to leave. Like, why didn't I leave? I think that's why people end up having those problems, is because people are not having these honest conversations with themselves. And I think these are conversations you should be having with yourself, and that you should be reevaluating. You should be going back and saying, are these things still true? And I heard something that said, when the facts change, so do I. And I think that applies when you are getting married. I think that applies when you are having children. I think that applies when you are relocating. I think that applies if you are going through some epic change, such as a divorce. I think that applies if your parents are sick or you're moving your parents into your house. I think that applies if you get sick, if you get ill. I think that applies if you want to change the pace of your lifestyle, if you want to speed it up, if you want to slow it down, if you want it to stop for a moment. Like, I think that statement or phrase applies when the facts change, so do I. You know what I mean? Everything is not always concrete. Everything doesn't always necessarily stay the same. They change. And so you have to be willing to change, but you need to be able, again, to reassess your life and to see like, okay, are the life choices that I'm making right now, do they align with where I am in this season? Do they align with the season that I'm transitioning to? Do they align with the season that I now find myself in? And I think one key thing to be able to do that is to really think about what type of quality of life do you want to live. I don't think enough people ask themselves that. I think knowing the quality of life you want to live is more than just materialistic things, and it does include materialistic things, right? Knowing that you want to drive a Tesla versus a Honda, knowing that you want to drive a Mercedes-Benz versus a Toyota. I mean, there's nothing wrong with either one of those things. It just comes down to, oops, sorry, my battery's low. But it does, either one of those things doesn't supersede the other. It just comes down to what is it that you want. If you're thinking about a house, what type of house do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a house that has a pool that has to be maintenance? Do you want to live in a house that has a huge backyard? Do you want to live in a house that is in a gated community? Do you want to live in a luxury house? Do you want to live in a starter home? Do you want to live in a home that requires you to do passion projects? Like, those things matter. What type of foods do you want to eat? Do you want to eat foods that are wholesome? Do you want to eat foods that are, I don't know, vegan? Do you want to eat foods that are vegetarian? Like, do you want to shop at Walmart? Do you want to shop at Whole Foods? Do you want to shop at Publix? Going back to school, do you just want to get your BSN? Do you want to get your doctorate degree? Do you just want to get, I don't know, your master's degree? What type of place do you want to work? Do you want to work in a clinic that's open on the weekend, or do you want to work in a clinic that's closed on the weekends and get the holidays off? Do you want to be a contract worker where you just come in on a set schedule, you don't really have all that extra work? Do you want to work per diem? Do you want to work full time? Do you want to work underneath someone, or do you want to work for yourself? Do you want to start a business, or do you want to be a contractor within a business? Like, these are questions you need to be asking yourself. How much money do you want to make? Do you want to make a lot of money? Do you want to make like an average salary? Do you want to work hard for your money? Do you want to kind of chill back and lay back for your money? Are you okay with taking a pay cut for doing an easier job? Like, these are the questions, guys, you have to ask yourself. Like, you have to know what quality of life you want to live, because that is going to determine what choices do I need to make that's in alignment with the life that I want to live, so that I can actually live it. And I think a lot of people say things like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I can't wait to do this, one day I'll do that. And the reason why people say things like that is because they're not making choices in their now to be able to experience certain things in their near future. I'm not one of those people who believes that it takes 10 years, 5 years to be able to do things. I'm not one of those people who thinks that sacrificing yourself and putting in hard work equals to nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people who believes that I need to work for 20 years to make a certain amount of income. I'm not one of those people who feels like only when I make not only when I make, but I'm not one of those people who feels like you can only go to certain places for vacation. Not certain places for vacation, but you can only go to vacation like once a year, like a big trip. You know, I'm not one of those people. I'm definitely one of those people where, like, I know what I want my life to look like. I know where I want to be. I know how I want my career to go. And yeah, you have to be flexible. Everything changes, right? Again, when the facts change, so do I, right? But just because the facts change, that doesn't mean that the quality of life that you want to live changes. It just means the way that you have to go about it changes, right? And so I think when we talk about nursing, one of the key things, not key things, but one of the main things people always talk about is like travel nursing. Like, obviously I'm doing travel nursing, right? So yeah, I'm a travel nurse. However, travel nursing isn't like the all and be all. Travel nursing is not sustainable. If you want to build like genuine relationships, if you want to grow a local community, at emphasis on the local, because you can have a community, right? The community can be spread out throughout the United States and international. But if you want a local community, if you want to put roots down somewhere, if you want to create lifelong experiences that build on themselves, you got to put your roots down somewhere. Like, you have to settle down somewhere. And that doesn't mean that you're stuck there for 20, 30 years, but at some point you got to take a pause. And so the question becomes, well, if you were chasing travel nursing money, or you're chasing travel nursing, I guess I'm saying, because of the pay, what happens when you have to put your roots down? What happens when you actually find a place that you really enjoy, that you thrive in, that you do well in an environment that caters to your needs, that's in alignment with who you are? Like, what happens when you put your roots down there and then your income drops? You know what I mean? That means that you were not prepared for life. Like, you weren't prepared by being realistic with knowing that travel nursing is not sustainable long term. So you should always be thinking, like, I think forward thinking, but then also enjoying the present. So for me, I would say you should always be thinking about, like, what do I want my life to be like, and how do I want to feel, and who do I want in it? And I think thinking about those things will help you to make choices that are better suited for you. I think thinking about, I want to make a lot of money, and understanding, okay, travel nursing is probably like the first place to start, and then understanding that, okay, if I become a travel nurse and I make a lot of money, maybe that means I'm getting out of debt, maybe that means I'm increasing my income, maybe that means that I'm starting to invest, maybe that means travel nursing is going to jumpstart a lot of those things for me. But at some point I do need to come up with a more sustainable plan that I can be able to do long term. So that might mean at some point I have to go back to school, or I might mean at some point I have to start a business. That might mean at some point I need to get experience in another specialty. That might mean at some point I need to move to a higher paying state. Like, you have to be able to think about, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want to experience? What do you want exposure to? And then be able to make choices, because these are daily choices. Make daily choices that are going to be reflective of that life, you know? So I'm always asking myself, like, what quality of life do I want to live, right? And just to give you an example, like, the quality of life that I want to live is where trips don't feel like vacation. They just feel like an everyday thing. Like, I don't go on trips because it's vacation, or because like I'm like, oh my god, I need a break. I go on trips because I like going on trips. That's just kind of it. Like, I'm in Hawaii because I was like, let me go to Hawaii, you know? A few months ago I was in Brazil, and I was just like, oh, let's go to Brazil. It wasn't because I was just like, I planned these trips because these are going to be my breaks. It's just I love to travel, and so I know I have to make a certain amount of money that's going to be able to accommodate traveling, because that is my norm. That's what I want to be my norm. I don't want it to be an outlier. I don't want it to be this thing where I save up all year to do. I want it to be this thing that's accessible to me throughout the year. You know what I mean? That's the quality of life that I want to live in that regard. And so I think for you guys, as you're starting your nursing career, regardless if you're a new grad or maybe you're in like me, just really go back to the drawing board and really think about, okay, I'm a nurse now. Let me sit down and really think about, like, treating my nursing career like a business, which I mentioned earlier. Like, what business moves do I need to make to feel content here, to feel satisfied here, to enjoy my time here, my experience here? Like, what business moves do I need to make? And really treat it like a business. And when you treat it like a business, you won't be staying at a job longer than you have to. You won't be staying on a unit that you absolutely hate. You won't be staying working in a hospital when you really should be working outpatient. You won't be working on the weekends when you know you only want to work Monday through Friday. Like, you'll be making choices for your career that make sense, and you won't be making choices simply based on money, because, again, thinking about the quality of life that I want to live, you'll be making intentional choices that are in alignment. And sometimes making intentional choices means that you have to go back to staffing, you know, to get experience in another specialty, to get the hell out of staffing, right? Making intentional choices may mean that you might have to go become a travel nurse to eliminate a bunch of debt, so that you can pay off student loans, so that you can be able to buy a house, so that you can pay off medical bills, you know. But you making those choices at the end, you know, I'm hoping somewhere in the middle, you know, it's going to start being alignment. You're going to start living the life you want to live. You're going to start enjoying the life that you have. You're going to start enjoying the people that you have around you, having time to spend time with those people, and fully enjoy them. But yeah, I just want to talk to you guys about that. But girl, that is all that I have for now. A girl has to head on out because low-key I'm starving. I want to go eat. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Again, this is hadassah.livess. My name is Esther. Thank you for watching. I love it if you guys will comment down below so I can chit chat with you guys. Press the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the